So many people are saying so many things. So MadMan presents what the are they saying? Hello guys, thank you for tuning in. So I got a request from my friend to do a video on this topic that is currently showing on the screen. So let me begin it this way. I think this is right. He thinks that is wrong, hence we cannot be friends. I don't like that guy because he thinks something is right that I think is wrong. Right? So we run into these things very often. But today, let's analyze what is right, what is wrong. Now, one thing that I've always been repeating in my videos is that right and wrong are just concepts. They're just concepts that differ from individual to individual. Now, something that is right for one person may not be right for other person. So it is not what is right, it is what you think is right. Now, obviously, there may be something that the majority of people think is right and only a few people think is wrong. Now, just because a majority of people think it is right does not mean that it is right. It is still that the majority of people think that is right. Now, for example, a majority of people may believe that stealing is wrong, but a few people who earn their living by stealing, it is not wrong for them. It is the right thing to do for them. So what I'm basically trying to say is that it is just a concept. Right and wrong are just concepts that differ from individual to individual. So the concepts of right and wrong are almost like a torchlight that we use to navigate through our life, right? But let's take this moment to analyze where we get this concept. Where do we get this concept of what is right and what is wrong? Now, it is important to notice that we do not get the concepts of what is right and what is wrong by birth, right? It is something that is given to us. So it is mostly dependent on the kind of environment that we're brought up in. Now, we are taught mostly by our families and the kind of environment we're brought up in, the concepts of what is right, the right thing to do, the wrong thing to do, what you should do, how you should do, how you should not do, and all those things. So the initial concept of right and wrong is formed, and now we use that as a torchlight to navigate through life. And our very concept of right and wrong is constantly changing as we navigate through life. Now, I want to use this beautiful analogy, and that is a human being is like a rolling piece of tape, and the concepts of right and wrong are like the things that are stuck to that tape, right? So the next thing that rolling tape attracts heavily depends on the things that are already stuck to that tape, right? So the point that it is a rolling tape signifies that it is constantly picking up and dropping stuff that are already stuck to it, meaning that the concepts of right and concepts of wrong are changing frequently. Now, obviously, that piece of rolling tape may hit a wall and it may drop all its concepts and it may start fresh. Or in the real life, you may get into a really tough situation, something that tests your limit, and that may change all your concepts of right and concepts of wrong. So basically what I'm trying to say is that something is not right, something is not wrong. It is just what you think is right and what you think is wrong, and that may change, just like the example of piece of rolling tape, that may change very often. So now the next thing to look at is, do we always do what we think is right? And the answer to that is no, because we may think one thing is right, but we find ourselves not doing it very often. For example, You may think that masturbating is a wrong thing, right? But you may find yourself very often uh, having a phone on your hand watching porn and falling into that act, right? So even though masturbating is not a right thing to do for you, you may find yourself doing it all the time. Now, what to do in such situation? Now, obviously, the best thing is to stick to what you think is right. But if you cannot do it, just change your concept of right. Just accept it, right? Because if you don't accept it and if you keep falling into the same thing, then that creates the friction. So if you can just stick to what you think is right, if you cannot do it, just accept it and change what you think is right. Now, having said that, again, coming to the conclusion, there is nothing right, there is nothing wrong. It is just what you think is right and what you think is wrong. Now, having said that, thank you for tuning in. And also, if you want me to talk about any things that you like, just comment on the section below and I'll talk about it in my other videos. Now, having said that, thank you for tuning in and thank you for your love and support. If you want to buy helpful books, just go to www.hellomadman.com. Thank you.